eye-opening. That's how defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz described the performance by the Buccaneers offense in Tampa Bay's 48-40 win over New Orleans. Schwartz and offensive coordinator Mike Groh offer a scouting report of the Bucs to kick off this Tuesday edition of Eagles 360 presented by Xfinity.
They made a lot of big plays. Deshaun Jackson down the field, Evans, tight end. A lot of big plays. Fitzpatrick's been around for a long time. He got hot.
I mean, their linebackers obviously, really set the tone there with Quan Alexander and Lavonte David, guys that have played a lot of good football over the last several years. I've recruited Quan Alexander out of high school, so have followed him for a long time. And, in their secondary, they've added some pieces there. I know they're hoping to get Brent Grimes back, and, of course, Vernon Hargraves out there on the perimeter at corner. Both those guys are really good corner cover guys. So they got team speed, a lot like Atlanta. And like we've talked about here today, I mean, their defensive line, they've invested and they put some pressure on the quarterback and create those kind of matchups. So we've got our work cut out for us.
To help with the defensive effort, linebacker Nigel Bradham returns to the lineup after serving a suspension in Week 1. Schwartz learned a lot about the defense in Bradham's absence, especially how Jordan Hicks can provide a spark.
One of the biggest plays in the game was his sack. It wasn't just getting the sack, but just the way he did it. It was such a physical play. It really helped our defense, sort of catch on fire. I've said a lot of times that Nigel Bradham has played that role for us and has been a heart and soul of our defense. Well, Jordan was able to give us that same kind of spark, and I thought it was a key part of the game. It was such a physical play.
Fletcher Cox played the most snaps by far of any defensive lineman, 65 to be exact, in the win over Atlanta. The runner-up, defensive end Brent Grimes, who missed the entire offseason after undergoing ankle surgery. Graham had 2 tackles for loss, but as Schwartz says, the best is yet to come.
I don't think it's ever ideal that you miss, 95% of training camp or whatever it was, but he's a veteran player. He's been through a lot of those wars before, and he was able to pick things up pretty quickly. I think we haven't seen, I think there's more left to be seen from Brandon also, which is a good sign.
The coaching staff knows who will start at quarterback. Expect head coach Doug Pearson to make an announcement on Wednesday. Now, the question is, will Alshon Jeffrey line up at wide receiver? Whether or not he plays, someone must step up and create explosive plays.
I mean, Alshon's a big part of what we do. And we know that defenses have to account for him. So, when he's out there, there's certainly plays that we know that he's made in the past for us that, we got to find other guys to make.
The offensive line helped the run game get on track in the second half of the win over Atlanta as Jay Ajayi scored both of his touchdowns on the ground. Jason Peters played in his first game of any kind since the middle of the 2017 season, while unsung hero Isaac Seumalo continues to wear many hats for this offense.
Pretty amazing that a guy could miss all that time and step right back into one of the premier positions in the National Football League like JP did for us. And we know he's just going to keep getting better week in and week out now that the games have started. And he gets back out there and knocks a little bit of the rust off. But for week 1, man, he played really well. We've been talking about Isaac and the kind of training camp that he's had for a number of weeks now. I mean, he's got a tremendous amount of versatility to be able to play center, guard, tackle, and then, like you said, even go out and play some of that big tight end. He's a heck of an athlete, and his confidence, you can just see it soaring right now. Really feels good about where he's at and his understanding of our scheme and what we're getting done and communicating that and being vocal. I think playing center throughout training camps really helped him with that. And so with his versatility, it gives us a lot of flexibility up front.
The Eagles are back in the building on Wednesday as the game plan for Tampa Bay starts to come to life. In our On the Menu presented by Amoroso's, head coach Doug Pearson will address the media at 10:30 a.m. We'll bring that to you live. And later in the day, Amy Campbell will bring you all of the latest news and notes on Eagles 360 presented by Xfinity. Until then, I'm Chris McPherson. Thanks for joining us and have a great Eagles night.